So in the case of AP US history, I took a number of steps. The first thing that I did was I submitted a public information request. So I made sure I had all of the information available. I wanted to know who wrote this curriculum, who approved it, how long it had been in use, things like that. And the response that I got back from the district was, we have no responsive data. And to this day, I don't know, if that was completely accurate or if they really just didn't know. And so that is why I call that AP US history curriculum rogue. What I do know is that our school district had a board approved AP US history that was in use by the comparable high school in our district from a socioeconomic standpoint. There's another high school that's very similar, and they were using the board approved textbook for AP US history. The next thing that I asked for was the AP US history test scores for our high school compared to all the high schools in our district. I mainly was interested in our high school compared to the comparable socioeconomic high school. And what I found was pretty shocking in that our high school's rogue curriculum was not only a terrible curriculum, but it wasn't preparing students for the AP US history test that students can take at the end of the year for college credit. And for viewers that don't know how that works, a student can score anything from, I think, a 1 to a 5. And if you get a 3 or higher on that exam, there's a very good chance that you'll be receiving college credit for that class. What I found was that at our high school, we were below the mean score for students on that test was below the state average. And so I have it here on the slide. Our high school score was 2.3. The state average was 2.28. The comparable high school actually had a mean higher average, which you would expect the same outcome at our high school. There's no reason for it to be different. So that was really troubling. And then there were a lot of students, I don't have the exact data points on this, but I can say from experience, there are a lot of students that had an A in the class that received like a 2 on the AP US history exam. If you receive an A in the class, you really ought to be doing better. And it says that you know the material. So clearly this material was not preparing the students. So the next step that I took was I, listed out all of my concerns just methodically. And again, I'm not a historian, I'm just a mom, but I feel like it's really important to say that anybody can pick out bias or inconsistencies and even find inaccurate information in something once you read it, right? So I just listed out all of my concerns and I sent that email off to our principal. We have a wonderful school principal. He and I sat down, we reviewed all of those concerns, and then he took all of that to the district for me and I challenged the curriculum. And ultimately, the best part of the story is that after a semester of reviewing my concerns, the district did decide to remove that rogue curriculum and implement the board approved textbook